She said it into the microphone, clear, cold, in front of over 200 people at her baptism. "And to the man who married my mom, I'm sorry, but you were never my father." The room gasped. Someone actually clapped. A few people whispered. I heard a woman say, "Finally," from somewhere in the back. I just stared at her. My stepdaughter, Autumn, the girl I'd raised since she was 5 years old, the one I'd taught to ride a bike, helped with homework, walked through her first heartbreak. She looked right through me, like I was invisible, like 12 years of my life meant nothing. And I realized something in that moment. This wasn't about me anymore. This was about them. My name is Austin Tate. I'm 42 years old. I met her mother, Natalie, when Autumn was still learning how to braid her own hair. Her father had vanished, just left one day. No goodbye, no child support, nothing. I didn't replace him. I stood in the gaps. I showed up, but apparently that made me disposable. She walked past my pew after the speech, right past me, like nothing had happened. Not a flinch, not a pause, not even a glance. She actually smiled at me. Not warm, not apologetic, cold, calculated. Like it was a performance she'd rehearsed, like she'd planned every word, every pause, every look, like I wasn't even hurt. The congregation just watched. Some looked uncomfortable. Others nodded like they understood something I didn't. Natalie sat beside me, frozen. She squeezed my hand once, but she didn't stand up, didn't correct Autumn, didn't defend me. She just sat there. After the ceremony, people approached us. "Beautiful baptism," they said. "Such a powerful testimony." Nobody mentioned what Autumn had said about me. Nobody acknowledged the public humiliation. They just smiled and moved on. I felt like I was drowning in a room full of people who refused to see me go under. Autumn hugged her friends, posed for photos, laughed. I stood in the corner, holding a cup of punch I didn't want, wondering how I'd become so invisible. I confronted Natalie in the car. The parking lot was emptying, people waving goodbye, happy families leaving together. "Did you know she was going to say that?" Natalie stared straight ahead. "She's 17. It's complicated." "Complicated?" She just publicly disowned me. "You can't take this personally, Austin." I almost laughed. "How else should I take it?" She sighed. "She's just emotional, finding her faith, processing her childhood. You know how teenagers are." I paid for that entire ceremony, the dress, the reception, everything. Natalie's jaw tightened. "Can we not do this right now?" "When can we do it?" She started the car. "Later, when everyone's calmed down." But later never came. We drove home in silence. Autumn rode with her youth group, celebrating, laughing, and I sat in that passenger seat realizing I'd been erased. Not gradually, not quietly, in front of 200 witnesses. At the reception, I saw someone watching me from the far corner of the fellowship hall, a woman I didn't recognize at first. Then my stomach dropped. It was Derek, Autumn's biological father. Gone for 12 years. No birthday cards, no phone calls, no child support payments. Back just in time for the spotlight. He stood near the dessert table, talking to Autumn. She was animated, smiling, touching his arm, like he'd been there all along. Natalie saw me staring. She invited him. I couldn't say no. "You couldn't say no?" "He's her father, Austin. I've been her father for 12 years. You know what I mean." But I didn't. Not anymore. Derek caught my eye across the room, raised his cup, smirked, not friendly, territorial, like he was reclaiming something that had always been his. I left the reception early. Nobody noticed. Or if they did, nobody cared. A week later, a flyer went out for a church father-daughter retreat, annual event, camping, bonding, faith activities. I'd taken Autumn the past 3 years. We'd made it our tradition. S'mores by the fire, hiking, talks about life. This year, the flyer came home in her backpack. I saw the registration form on the kitchen table. Under father's name, she'd written Derek, not me, not Austin, not even stepdad. Just Derek, the man who'd been gone for 12 years, who'd missed every school play, every soccer game, every tear and triumph. I picked up the form. "Autumn, is this a mistake?" She didn't look up from her phone. "No, why would it be?" "Because I've taken you the past 3 years. Derek wants to go this year. I think it'll be good for us." "What about me?" She finally looked up. "What about you?" Her eyes were cold, distant, like I was a stranger asking for something I hadn't earned. Autumn turned 18 2 weeks later. A big milestone, legal adulthood. Natalie planned a dinner. I assumed we'd all go together, our family. But Saturday evening came, and Natalie got dressed up. Autumn came downstairs in a new dress. Ready? Natalie asked her. Where are we going? I asked. Natalie hesitated. Just a quick birthday dinner. The three of us. The three of us? Me, Autumn, and Derek. He wanted to celebrate her turning 18. My chest tightened. And me? We thought it might be better if it was just them. You know, her biological parents. I stood there, stunned. You didn't think to tell me? I'm telling you now? An hour before you leave? Autumn grabbed her purse. Can we not make this a big thing? They left. Together. A family. I wasn't told where they went. I wasn't invited. I only found out later because the restaurant posted a photo on Instagram, tagged as a reunited family celebration. All three of them smiling, hugging, happy, like I'd never existed. I found the box while cleaning Autumn's room. She'd left for a college prep weekend. Natalie asked me to organize her closet. A shoebox, hidden under old yearbooks. Inside, letters. Dozens of them, all from Derek. I shouldn't have read them, but I did. They dated back 5 years, since she was 13. I'm sorry I left, baby girl, but I'm back now, waiting for the right time. Don't tell Natalie or Austin yet. They wouldn't understand. You and me, we have a bond that goes deeper than time. When you're old enough, we'll make up for everything. 5 years. He'd been writing her for 5 years, and she'd hidden it. From me. From us. Every letter signed, Love Dad, P.S. Don't tell them. Not yet. Them. Not him. Them. I was the enemy, the obstacle, the thing standing between her and her real family. I put the letters back, exactly how I'd found them, but I took photos of every single one. The next day, I used the family desktop. Checking email, paying bills. Autumn's account was still logged in. I should have logged out. But I saw an email draft, addressed to Pastor Williams. Subject, Mother-Daughter Retreat Request. I clicked it. My stomach dropped. Pastor Williams, I wanted to ask about bringing my mom to the women's retreat in March. I know Austin has been around, but honestly, he's always been more like staff than family. I want my real dad to stand with me at important moments. Would that be okay? Staff, not dad, not father figure, not even person. Staff, like I was hired help, a contractor whose services were no longer needed. I sat there staring at the screen, reading it over and over. Natalie came in. What are you looking at? I showed her. She read it. Sighed. She's just venting. Teenagers say things. She called me staff. I'll talk to her. Will you? She didn't answer. She closed the laptop and walked away. 2 weeks later, Natalie asked me to handle Autumn's college deposit. The deadline's tomorrow. Can you just cover it now? I'll reimburse you. How much? $1,200. I paused. That's a lot. It's her future, Austin. Please. I transferred the money, paid the deposit, secured her spot. Natalie said thank you. Autumn didn't. 2 months later, I asked Natalie about the reimbursement. Oh, I meant to talk to you about that. Things are tight right now. Can we push it to next month? Next month became next quarter. Next quarter became never. I'd paid for the college she'd attend, the place where she'd start her adult life. And I got nothing. Not gratitude. Not acknowledgement. Not even a text. When I brought it up again, Natalie snapped. You're really gonna nickel and dime your own daughter? She's not my daughter, remember? She made that very clear. Natalie's face hardened. That's cruel. But the truth often is. Sunday morning, Pastor Williams stood at the pulpit. Announcements, celebrations, community updates. Let's lift up Autumn Brennan as she prepares for college. We're so proud of this young woman and her parents. He gestured toward the congregation. Natalie waved. Derek, sitting 2 rows behind us, stood and nodded. The congregation clapped. Pastor Williams continued. Her mother and father have raised her well. Her mother and father. Not me, not Austin. Not the man who'd been at every choir practice, every bake sale, every youth event. I sat in that pew, hands clenched, invisible. Natalie didn't correct him, didn't clarify, didn't acknowledge me. After service, people congratulated Natalie and Derek, shook their hands, praised their parenting. Nobody looked at me. I was a ghost in my own family's story. Years ago, I'd helped Natalie organize her legal documents. We'd created a will together, made plans, protected our family. I'd saved everything on a flash drive, kept it in our safe. One folder was marked personal, private. I'd never opened it. Privacy mattered. Trust mattered. Until now. I opened the safe, found the flash drive, plugged it in. Inside the private folder, a DNA test result, dated 13 years ago, when Autumn was 5, right after Derek left. I opened the file, read it carefully. Derek Brennan, 0% probability of paternity. My hands shook. Derek wasn't Autumn's biological father. Natalie had gotten pregnant by someone else. Derek had found out, that's why he left, and Natalie had never told Autumn. Never told me. She'd let everyone believe Derek was the father, let him back into their lives, let him reclaim a daughter who wasn't even his, while I, the man who'd actually raised her, was erased. I confronted Natalie that night, showed her the DNA results. Her face went pale. Where did you get that? Our safe, the flash drive you asked me to organize years ago. You had no right to lie. She sat down, silent. Derek isn't her father. Biologically, no, but what? You let him come back, let him play dad, let her reject me, all while knowing the truth? It's complicated. Stop saying that, she flinched. He raised her for 5 years, he has a connection to her. I raised her for 12. What's my connection? Silence. Does Autumn know? No, and she doesn't need to. She's 18. She has a right to know. Don't you dare tell her. Why not? Because it'll destroy her. More than destroying me? Natalie stood up. This isn't about you, Austin. This is about protecting her. From what? The truth? She walked away, but I'd already made my decision. The next morning, I checked our joint bank account. Something felt off. A withdrawal. $12,000. 2 days ago. I scrolled through the transaction details. Transfer to an account I didn't recognize. I called the bank. They confirmed. Natalie had initiated the transfer. When she came home, I asked her about it. What withdrawal? $12,000 2 days ago. Her face changed, defensive. It was necessary. For what? Derek needed help getting back on his feet. I gave him a gift. A gift from our joint account? From my savings. Our joint savings that I contributed to. He's Autumn's father. He's not her father. The DNA proves it. She slammed her hand on the counter. He was there when she needed him. When? When he abandoned her at 5? When he missed 12 birthdays? He's trying now, with my money. We stared at each other, the gap between us widening. You had no right, I said quietly. I had every right. It's my money too. Not anymore. I packed a bag that night. Not everything. Just enough. Clothes, toiletries, laptop, documents. Natalie watched from the doorway. What are you doing? Leaving? For how long? I don't know. This is childish. Is it? You gave away $12,000 without asking, to a man who isn't even her biological father, while erasing me from her life. I didn't erase you. You let her erase me. There's a difference. I zipped the bag. Where will you go? Does it matter? She didn't answer. I walked past her, down the stairs to my car. She didn't follow. Autumn came home 2 days later. I was back at the house, packing more things. She stood in the doorway of the bedroom. Mom said you're moving out. That's right. Because of me? I looked at her, really looked at her. Do you care? She shifted. It's been really tense lately. Maybe we all need space. Space, like I was a roommate, an inconvenience. Autumn, I raised you for 12 years. I know. I was there when Derek wasn't. I know that too. Then why? She crossed her arms. Because you're not my real dad, you never were, and pretending doesn't change that. The words hit like a punch. Real isn't biology, I said quietly. Real is showing up. Easy for you to say. Is it? She turned to leave. I think it's better if you go. For everyone. I finished packing in silence. I requested a meeting with Pastor Williams. Private. 5 minutes. He agreed. I brought documents. Photos of the letters, the DNA results, bank statements, everything. I sat across from him in his office. Pastor, I need you to hear something. And I need you to keep it confidential, for now. He nodded. Of course. I told him everything. Autumn's public rejection. Derek's return. The hidden letters. The DNA truth. His face changed from confusion to shock to sadness. Austin, I had no idea. Nobody does. That's the problem. What do you want me to do? I want the truth to matter. I want people to know that the man they're celebrating isn't who they think he is. Are you sure about this? If they want to make this about legacy and truth, let's do that. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, the women's ministry is doing testimonies next month. We could use a men's perspective. I understood what he was offering. A platform, a voice. I nodded. I'll do it. 2 weeks later, Pastor Williams called me. Austin, we're doing a special service. Men's Faith Sunday. Would you be willing to share a testimony about fatherhood? My heart raced. What kind of testimony? Whatever the Lord puts on your heart. He knew, he understood. This was my chance, I'll do it. It'll be the whole congregation, not just the men. I know. Are you sure? Absolutely. He paused. Just remember, truth spoken in love, not revenge. I know the difference. I hung up and started preparing. Not a speech, not an attack, just the truth. I didn't write a traditional speech. I brought a folder, documents, receipts, proof. The morning of Men's Faith Sunday, I sat in the front pew, hands shaking. Natalie and Autumn were in their usual spot. Derek sat with them. Pastor Williams introduced me. Austin Tate will share a testimony about what it means to be a father. I walked to the podium, opened my folder. The congregation waited. This is for every man who showed up when he wasn't wanted, I began. Who stayed when he was overlooked. Who loved in silence while someone else took credit. The room went quiet. Natalie's face paled. Fatherhood isn't biology, it's choice, it's sacrifice. It's the 1,000 small moments nobody sees. I paused. Let the words settle. Some people spend years building families on lies, and some of us, we were never given credit for our truth. Autumn stiffened. Derek looked confused. I was just getting started. I pulled out the first document, held it up. This is a DNA test, conducted 13 years ago. It proves that the man sitting in that pew, the one being celebrated as a returning father, isn't biologically related to the daughter he claims. Gasps rippled through the congregation. Natalie stood up. Austin, don't. Sit down, Natalie. My voice was calm, firm. I'm not doing this out of anger. I'm doing this because truth matters. I read the results aloud, name redacted. But everyone knew. Derek's face turned red. He started to stand. Pastor Williams motioned for him to sit. For 12 years I raised a child who wasn't mine biologically. Fed her, clothed her, paid for her education, loved her unconditionally. My voice cracked slightly, and I was called staff, erased, replaced by a man who wasn't even her father. Autumn was crying, not sadly, angrily. So when you celebrate fatherhood, remember this. Real fathers show up. They don't need DNA, they don't need credit, they just need to be seen. I closed the folder. Thank you. I walked off the platform. Svap, the sanctuary erupted. Whispers, gasps, angry voices. Derek stormed out. Natalie followed him. Autumn sat frozen, tears streaming. Pastor Williams stepped to the podium. Let's take a moment to pray. After service, people approached me, some angry, some supportive. One older man shook my hand. That took courage. A woman hugged me. My stepson needed to hear this. But most just stared, uncertain, uncomfortable. The following week, Pastor Williams called me. Derek's mother filed a complaint. She wants you removed from the church. What did you say? I said no. Truth doesn't require removal, just grace. And Derek? He's asked for his own time to speak. I denied it. Why? Because he had 12 years to speak up. You earned your moment. I hung up, grateful. Natalie moved into a hotel. Not with me, not with Derek, alone. The truth had fractured everything. Autumn called me once. You humiliated us. I told the truth. You destroyed everything. Everything was already broken. I just stopped pretending. I'll never forgive you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for honesty. She hung up. Derek left town 2 weeks later. Couldn't handle the scrutiny, the questions, the shame. Natalie filed for separation. Her lawyer called mine. Your client embarrassed my client publicly. Your client lied for 13 years. The lawyer had no response. I filed for divorce officially. Legal. Final. The paperwork was straightforward. No kids together. Assets divided. Natalie fought for the house. I didn't care. She could have it. The memories. The lies. I wanted freedom. My lawyer asked, any final requests? Just one. I want it documented that I fulfilled my role as stepfather. Financially, emotionally, legally. For what purpose? So when she's older, she'll know the truth. That I didn't abandon her. She abandoned me. He nodded, filed the documents. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. I signed the papers, felt nothing, just relief. 6 months later, the church reached out. An email from the women's ministry coordinator. Austin, we know you're going through changes, but we wondered if you'd consider leading our men's ministry. We need someone who values truth. I read it twice. Me? Leading? I called Pastor Williams. Is this real? Absolutely. You have the kind of strength we want to center. Not loud, not cruel, just unshakable. I humiliated people. You told the truth. There's a difference. I accepted the position. Not for revenge, not for validation, but because broken men need examples of how to stand up, how to speak truth, how to survive betrayal. I could be that. A year later, I sat in the same pew, different service, another baptism. A young boy stepping into the water, his stepfather standing beside him, proud, present. The boy said, "I want to thank my dad, not the one who left, the one who stayed." The congregation clapped, the stepfather cried. I smiled. Someone sat next to me, a woman from the church. "You're the one who spoke last year, right?" "Yes." "That speech changed my son's life. He's a stepdad. He needed to hear what you said. I'm glad. Are you doing okay?" I looked at the baptism, the family, the love. "Yeah, I'm whole." She smiled, walked away. I sat there, alone, content. I didn't need a title to love well. I'd proven that already. Months passed, I built a new life, new routines, new purpose, leading the men's ministry, mentoring stepfathers, speaking truth. One Sunday, Autumn showed up, alone. She sat in the back, listened to my teaching, didn't approach. After service, she sent me a text. "Can we talk?" We met at a coffee shop, neutral ground. She looked different, older, sadder. "I've been thinking about what you said, about showing up." I waited. "You were right. Derek left again, 2 months ago, just vanished." "I'm sorry. Mom's struggling. I'm struggling." "What do you want from me, Autumn?" She looked down. "I don't know. Maybe just to say, I'm sorry for what I said, for how I treated you." "Do you mean it?" "I'm trying to." I nodded. "That's a start. We talked for an hour, not fixing everything. Just starting." Truth creates space for healing. Eventually, I left that coffee shop knowing I'd done the right thing. Not by being silent, by speaking up, by refusing to be erased.